now we're moving on to 7.2 part 3. I'll do the first 4 problems for you, or with you, and then I'll do some more complicated ones to help you out as you finish up 5 through 20. Okay, let's look at number 1. So number 1 wants us to have a conclusion of Q or not T. So that means we're down to constructive dilemma or addition. And given the fact that we have 2 conditionals and a disjunction, the odds are we're going to be using constructive dilemma. Okay, so let's do line 4. And the only way this works is if you have 2 conditionals brought together with a dot. So let's bring together line 1 and line 2 and conjunct them. And then if you look at line 3, we actually have everything we already need. We have not M, okay. We have R, perfect. That means we get Q or not T. And we're just going to use line 3 and 4, CD. Okay, let's look at line number 2. So, for number 2, they want us to get N dot K. Okay, the odds is that whenever you have a conjunction like that, 90% of the time you need to get N on a line by itself, you need to get K on a line by itself, and then conjunct them together. And as you can see, they've already given us N on a line by itself, so really the goal is we just need to get K on a line by itself, and then we're good to go. Okay, so looking at line 1 and 3, modus ponens is the first thing that comes to mind. So let's do 1 and 3, modus ponens. So remember, you get the antecedent, then you get to pull out the consequent. And now I'm noticing that the K is associated with if D then K. So if we had a D by itself, then we could use modus ponens. So let's just simplify from 4. And then we can use 2 and 5 and get K. And now we have N and K on a line by itself, so we can just conjunct them. And we're done. Okay, so number 3, they want us to get F by itself. Okay, F is a little buried right now, it's in there. So in order to get F, we need to get A. Okay, but we don't have A. Okay, A is right there. So in order to get A, we need E. Okay, we got E right there. We got our starting spot. So let's go with 4. We'll do 1 and 3. We'll get A dot C, and we'll go back to our old friend modus ponens. And then we need that A by itself, so we can use it on line 2. So we'll just do 4 simplification. And then we'll use A with line 2, F dot E, so 2 and 5. Perfect. And then we'll just simplify F. And we're done. Okay, number 4, another example of a conclusion with an R dot P. Okay, probably going to have to conjunct. And I'm noticing we have an R here, we have a P here, so it looks like a basic modus ponens. We just need this right here, and we need that right there. Okay. So the only way to do that is we got to take the H and just add it on. So we have an H in 3. So we'll take that H from line 3, and then we'll just add a not B. And we'll just say 3 addition. And since we have the modus ponens all set up, we'll use line 1 and 4, and we'll get R. And then we're going to have to do the same thing. We'll take that H again. You can reuse it as many times as you want. This time we're going to add a not M. So we'll do the same thing. We'll say 3, add. And then we're going to use it with line 2 in order to get that P out. So 2 and 6, modus ponens. And the last step is just bring them together. So we're just going to do 5 and 7, and we'll conjunct them. Okay, so I just did 1 through 4, and now I'm going to do 22 and 23, so these are a little bit more difficult just to help you out in the long run. Okay, so they want us to get to G. G is very much buried over there. So it looks like a lot of modus ponens and maybe even a constructive dilemma. And the reason I'm mentioning constructive dilemma is because I'm noticing we have a not P or not R. We have a not P and a not R. So if we were to isolate this right here on a line by itself, we could use it with line 4, and then we would get K or G, and then we would just need a not K, and that would give us our G. Okay, so let's start playing around and see what happens. So first of all, whenever you have anything like line 3, just go ahead and simplify it. Okay, so you can go ahead and take that not in out. So that's going to be 3 simplify. And then of course once you get not in on line by itself, you can look at line 2. Okay, modus tollens. So if you get the negation of the consequent, then you automatically get the negation of the antecedent. And you're going to be using lines 2 and 5, modus tollens. Okay, and remember, we need this isolated by itself, so we actually need to find this, and we have it now. So we have not K dot not N, so we'll just conjunct those together, and then we're going to use that up there in order to get the antecedent out. Okay, so I used line 1 and 7, and I used modus ponens. And now we're going to do exactly what I said we we're probably going to do. We have not P, we have not R, not P, not R. So that means we get to pull out K or G. And we're going to use line 4 and 8. And we're going to use CD. And now we just need to get rid of that K. And if you look at line 6, we can do it. So we have a disjunction, we have a negation of one side of it, so we have not K, and we have K or G, so that gives us G with DS. Okay, so we're just going to have a G down here, and then we're going to use lines 6 and 9, DS. Okay, so number 23. I doubt I'm going to have enough room to do this one, but we'll give it a try. So again, I'm noticing a pattern here. So we have E or F, and then I'm seeing E or F right there. So the odds are I'm going to have to conjunct those two together, because I'm also seeing A or B. I got A or B right there. They're setting it up for us. Okay? So that's more than likely we're going to be doing some CD here, but the question is, how do we get there? So if we need this right here, and we need this right here, well, the only way to really get that is through modus ponens. So that means we really need this right here, and we need this right here. Okay? So we need not A or D, and then we're going to need B or C. Now we can easily do this with addition. So we already have a not A on line 4. So let's just take 5, not A, and then we'll just add a D. So 4 is addition, and then we'll just go ahead and use that with line 1, and we'll get B to F. So that's 1 and 5, modus ponens. And then we need to do the same thing, but we need to get a B. So the only way to get the B is with 3 and 4, and we're going to do DS again. So then we get B, and then once we have B, we're going to add the C. Then once we've added it, then we're going to go back up to line 2, and we're going to get our A to E. So we're going to do 2 and 8 and P. And then we're going to go over here, and we're going to have to conjunct two of these together. So we're going to do A to E dot B to F. And the reason I'm doing that is because, as I mentioned earlier, we have A or B. So I got A or B. So now I want to use that and get, oh, there it is, E or F. Okay, so I'm going to, on line 11, I'm going to just get E or F, and I'm going to use line 3, and I'm going to use line 10. I'm going to use CD, and then I'm going to go back up here and fill in what I forgot to put in, 6 and 9 conjunction. Okay, so it honestly is about noticing patterns. So if you notice patterns easily, these will come easier to you. If not, practice, practice, practice.